Washington, D.C., July 26, 2023. A former United States Air Force officer sat before a congressional subcommittee and stated, under oath, that the United States government is in possession of craft of non-human origin. He said he knew the exact locations. He said non-human biological matter had been recovered from some of those craft. He said people had been harmed to keep this secret. His name is David Grusch. He is not a conspiracy theorist. He spent 14 years as a decorated intelligence officer. He held a top-secret SCI clearance. He served as the National Reconnaissance Office's representative to the Pentagon's UAP task force. He filed an official whistleblower complaint through the Intelligence Community Inspector General. The Inspector General reviewed his complaint. The Inspector General found his complaint to be credible and urgent. That finding is on the record. It is documented. It is public. The Pentagon's response: no verifiable evidence of any such program has been found. Both of those things are simultaneously true. And that is where this story begins. The government's relationship with unidentified aerial phenomena does not begin in 2023. It begins in 1947. That year, the U.S. Army Air Forces established Project Sign, the first official government program to investigate reports of unidentified flying objects. Its initial classified assessment, known as the Estimate of the Situation, concluded that the phenomenon was real and of interplanetary origin. The assessment was rejected by Air Force Chief of Staff Hoyt Vandenberg. The document was ordered destroyed. Not all copies were. Project Sign became Project Grudge. Project Grudge became Project Blue Book. Blue Book ran for 17 years, officially investigating 12,618 reports. In 1969, it was terminated. The Air Force conclusion: no UAP report had ever represented a threat to national security, and none had ever indicated technology beyond the range of current scientific knowledge. The Condon Report, which formed the basis for that conclusion, was later reviewed by the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Their finding: approximately 30% of the cases studied could not be identified. 30% of 12,000 reports. That is not nothing. Blue Book was closed. The files were archived. And for the next 50 years, official Washington maintained that there was nothing to investigate. That position collapsed publicly in December 2017. The New York Times published a front-page story revealing the existence of a secret Pentagon program called AATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The program had operated from 2007 to 2012 with a budget of $22 million. It had investigated UAP reports. It had produced classified assessments. The program had existed. It had been funded. Congress had not been fully informed. The Times published 3 declassified videos taken by Navy pilots showing objects performing maneuvers that no known aircraft can perform. The Pentagon confirmed the videos were real. In May 2022, Congress held its first public hearing on UAP in 51 years. Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence Scott Bray testified. He showed an additional declassified video: a spherical object passing rapidly in front of a Navy fighter jet. He stated that it remained unidentified. He also stated that the UAP task force had identified 11 near-miss incidents between U.S. military aircraft and UAPs. 11 documented cases where American pilots came close to colliding with objects that could not be identified. The 2021 report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence cataloged 144 UAP reports from U.S. government sources between 2004 and 2021. Of those 144 cases, exactly 1 was explained. 143 remained unresolved. The report noted that some UAP appeared to demonstrate, in its words, advanced technology. It did not specify whose. Then came Grusch. In June 2023, he went public through The Debrief, a science and defense publication. His claim: the U.S. government operates a multi-decade program to retrieve and reverse engineer craft of non-human origin. He said he had interviewed over 40 witnesses with direct knowledge. He said he had been denied access to the programs despite holding the appropriate clearances. He said he had been retaliated against professionally for raising the issue through official channels. At the July 2023 hearing, he testified under oath. Representative Nancy Mace asked him directly, were the biologics recovered from these craft human or non-human? Grusch replied, non-human. And that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to, that are currently still on the program. The room went silent. That statement was made under oath, before the United States Congress, in a recorded public hearing, by a man whose whistleblower complaint had already been deemed credible by the Inspector General of the intelligence community. The Pentagon responded the same day. Quote, AARO has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. Two statements, directly contradictory, both on the official record. In March 2024, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office released the first volume of its historical record report, the most comprehensive official review of government UAP programs ever made public. The report was 63 pages. It reviewed decades of government investigations. It concluded that AARO had found no evidence of any program involving non-human craft or materials. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Christopher Mellon, a man with decades of senior government service, reviewed the report publicly. He described it as the most error-ridden and unsatisfactory government report he could recall reading in his career. He noted it was the first AARO report submitted to Congress without the Director of National Intelligence's sign-off. He said it omitted entire agencies with known UAP investigations and excluded any discussion of efforts to conceal classified UAP information. The report that was supposed to end the debate instead deepened it. In November 2024, something unusual happened. A document called the Immaculate Constellation Report was entered into the congressional record. The document alleged the existence of a covert government program that had systematically collected UAP data, including footage of F-22 fighters being surrounded by fast-moving orbs and satellite imagery of a craft described as the size of a football field. In April 2025, a former Pentagon intelligence contractor named Matthew Brown publicly confirmed that he was the author of that report. The Pentagon denied its contents. Brown stood by his account. On September 9, 2025, the House Oversight Committee's Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets convened a hearing titled Restoring Public Trust Through UAP Transparency and Whistleblower Protection. U.S. Air Force veteran Jeffrey Nuzzatelli testified. U.S. Navy Chief Alexandra Wiggins testified. Both described a culture of institutional suppression, witnesses afraid to come forward, careers destroyed for reporting what they saw, a system designed to discourage documentation rather than encourage it. The UAP Disclosure Act of 2025 was introduced the same month as an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. Modeled on the JFK Records Act, it would establish a UAP records collection at the National Archives and create an independent review board to oversee declassification. The presumption of disclosure. That phrase, if enacted, would reverse the default. Instead of secrecy unless justified, The law would require release unless the president personally certifies a national security reason for delay. It has not yet passed. February 20th, 2026, 3 weeks ago. President Donald Trump, responding to a reporter's question, stated publicly that he intends to direct the release of government files on UFOs and, his word, aliens. The statement was made at the White House. It was recorded. It is on the public record. Former senior defense official Christopher Mellon responded cautiously. He noted that AARO has still not fulfilled its statutory reporting obligations. The required second volume of its historical record report has not been released, and the mandated 2025 annual report has not been submitted to Congress. In the course of producing this documentary, we were able to locate one individual willing to speak on record. His name is Captain James Harlow, retired U.S. Navy, former officer aboard the USS Princeton, the vessel whose radar systems tracked the Tic Tac object during the now famous 2004 encounter off the California coast. He was present. He saw the radar data in real time. He filed a report. He was told to drop it. He agreed to speak under one condition, that we do not identify his current employer. We agreed. What follows is his account, unedited, unabridged, in his own words.
I want to be precise about what I'm telling you and what I'm not. I'm not telling you I saw a spacecraft. I'm telling you I saw data. I'm telling you I watched a radar contact perform maneuvers that are not possible under any propulsion system I was aware of, or that I have become aware of since. I am telling you that the contact was real, corroborated by multiple independent sensor systems, and witnessed by multiple trained personnel. That's what I can say with certainty. Everything else is interpretation. I was on the Princeton during the November 2004 exercises off the California coast. The Princeton is an Aegis cruiser. Our radar systems are among the most sophisticated in the fleet. We had been tracking anomalous contacts for approximately 2 weeks before the incident that became public. 2 weeks. That part doesn't get reported. People think the Tic Tac encounter was a one-day event. It wasn't. We had been watching these objects on and off for days. They would appear at altitude, roughly 80,000 feet, descend to around 20,000 feet in seconds, and then hover, then disappear, then reappear. The descent from 80,000 to 20,000 feet in under 2 seconds. That is not a calculation I made casually. That is what the radar showed. Our radar was not malfunctioning. We checked multiple times. The contacts were consistent across systems. When Fravor and his wingman were vectored toward the contact, I was watching the radar. I watched the object respond to their approach. That word, respond, I choose deliberately. It changed its behavior when they got close. Whether that constitutes intelligence or automated avoidance, I can't say. But it changed. After the encounter, we were told to submit our reports through standard channels. I did. I documented what I observed. Approximately a week later, I was approached by 2 individuals I did not know. They were not in uniform. They asked to review my documentation. They took the copies I had made. They were professional and polite. I was not ordered to say nothing. I was not threatened. Nobody had to threaten me. There is a way that authority communicates what it wants without saying it. You understand, if you've served, what I'm describing. I understood. I said nothing publicly for 18 years. What changed for me was watching the 2023 hearing. Not because of Grusch specifically, but because of what Graves said. Ryan Graves described objects operating in restricted military airspace on a near-daily basis. He described a culture in which pilots actively chose not to report encounters because they feared the professional consequences. He described a reporting system so dysfunctional that safety-critical data was being systematically lost. That is a safety issue. Whatever these objects are, foreign technology, unknown natural phenomena, something else entirely, objects performing those maneuvers in restricted airspace near military aircraft are a flight safety hazard. That should be investigated. That should be documented. The fact that the stigma around reporting is strong enough to override a pilot's safety instincts tells you something about how the culture was managed. I'm not telling you the government has alien bodies in a warehouse somewhere. I have no knowledge of that. I'm telling you that in November 2004, the USS Princeton tracked objects that could not be identified and could not be explained, and that the data from that encounter was collected by people I did not know and has not been made available to the public or, as far as I'm aware, to the relevant scientific community. I'm telling you that is not acceptable. Whatever this is, and I genuinely do not know what it is, the answer to not knowing should be investigation, not suppression. That's the only thing I'm certain of.
The UAP Transparency Act, House Resolution 1187 of the 119th Congress, was introduced in February 2025. It would require the President to direct every federal department and agency to declassify and publicly release all records related to unidentified anomalous phenomena within 270 days of enactment. It has not yet been voted on. The fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act contains 3 UAP-related provisions. One requires the Pentagon to brief Congress on all UAP intercept operations conducted by NORAD and U.S. Northern Command since 2004. Another requires AARO to account for all security classification guides applied to UAP information. A third directs AARO to report on the number, location, and nature of UAP intercepts. These are not optional. They are statutory requirements with reporting deadlines. AARO has not yet fulfilled its existing statutory reporting obligations from prior legislation. As of March 2026, the following remains true. The AARO Historical Record Report, Volume 2, required by law, has not been released. The AARO Annual Report for 2025, required by law, has not been submitted to Congress. The Trump administration's announced intent to release UAP files has not produced a specific timeline, a specific scope, or a specific responsible official. Christopher Mellon, who spent years inside the senior levels of defense intelligence, summarized the situation in February 2026 with a statement that appears in the public record. He said, "The public's trust has been eroded and must be restored. Fulfilling reporting obligations is a good step in that direction. The reporting obligations have not been fulfilled. The witnesses have testified. The legislation has been drafted. The President has made a public pledge. The files have not been released." 143 unexplained reports, 11 near-miss incidents, radar data from the USS Princeton that has never been made public, a whistleblower complaint deemed credible by the Intelligence Community Inspector General, a former intelligence officer testifying under oath about non-human biologics, a covert program document entered into the congressional record, 2 weeks of unidentified contacts before the Tic Tac encounter that nobody reported for 20 years. The 2021 ODNI UAP report is available at dni.gov. The AARO Historical Record Report is available at aaro.mil. The transcript of the July 26, 2023 congressional hearing is available at ce-span.org. The UAP Transparency Act, H.R. 1187, is available at congress.gov. Anyone can read them. Draw your own conclusions.